Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another classic arcade repair. Sean here with you. Today I have just put onto the bench a Zaxxon PCB from Sega. It's a dual stack. We have video and clocking done on this board. It's kind of a lot like Donkey Kong, to be honest with you. This board set looks like it was a lot of inspiration was taken from Nintendo's Donkey Kong for this board set. Here we have our CPU / sound board. So CPU and sound is done on one board and video and clocking is done on another board, much like Donkey Kong. Okay. So one thing I did do right off the bat was I dumped all of the EEPROMs and I verified them, and the EEPROMs are all good. So I actually put window coverings on all of the ROMs down on this board, and yeah, put them all back in. It's good. So we'll go ahead and turn it on, and we get some noise. And we get nothing. Nothing on the monitor. No video at all. So let's go ahead and just turn on the little scope and let's probe around the CPU here and see if we're getting anything. I'm not crazy about these sockets. And if we want to utilize the fluke, I'm going to have to replace this socket. So I think I'll do, well, let's get the little scope and kind of probe around. I want to see the reset signal and some of the addressing and data signals and stuff like that. Try to see if we see anything obvious. Okay, so I got the little scope rolling. And the first thing we'll do is check our reset line, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 26. And that's high, where it should be. So let's check the clock. Pin 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that ain't good. That is no clock. Let's check the socket pin. No clock. Okay. So we're obviously getting some kind of an independent oscillator for this, because we did hear like a ding out of the, you see this? We'll start it over again and you'll hear a ding come out of the sound. Yeah, see? So this obviously has its own oscillator going. Which I don't see a clock crystal on here anywhere. Maybe it's well, who knows? I don't know how. I'd have to look at the you'd have to pull the schematic and look at it to find out how this thing is getting an oscillator. Yeah, I don't see anything. Just kind of scanning around on here. 4016. Here's a Sega chip. Yeah, I don't know. Be interesting to see how this thing is oscillating. Anyway, all of the clocks. What's this? Sync polarity. Sync polarity. Interesting. If you mess around with that, it kind of goes out of sync and stuff. Like I said, the clocking is done on this board, so we need to get access to this board and find out where our clock is. I think the first thing I need to do is get a schematic for this and kind of look at that, look at the clocking signal on here, and then follow it with the little scope. Okay, I went and got the schematics printed, and it looks like we have, there's our little ferrite transformer, that little coil thing. And you can see one end is grounded and the other end has our clock signal on it. See that? Okay. So if we look, we have, there's that little thing right here. There's the end with the signal. And let's zoom into that a little bit. Which one is it? Scale? Yeah. 49 megahertz, 48 megahertz. And which is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's bouncing around 48, 49. And that's a 48.66 megahertz crystal. So that's good. So we are good right here through this transformer. And I have checked. This is not open. And this is not open. I used my continuity meter to just on the points here. And those are not open. So then it goes into this ECL to TTL translator. This is 10125 on pins 14 and 15. That's this guy. Here's 15. And 15 is just grounded low, as is this one. Okay, so this is the output of that little ferrite transformer. You can see it's just, that's what we're getting. So what I want to do is I want to remove this chip. I want to remove this 1025 translator and see if that is wrecking this signal through this transformer, because I know that this little ferrite transformer right here, I know is not open. And if you have that signal on one side, it should transfer over to the other side. But if this is holding it down, then it won't work. So let's take this out of the board and then recheck that. Okay, I replaced this 125. Here's the old one. And it brings this down to more of a ECL level, and then the output is right here. So there's your output. So now we do have this clock, and it's 49 megahertz, 49. I don't know if you can see that. So that chip was definitely no good. So yeah, this one's bad. And we have this, which I may be able to adjust that. So I'm going to try adjusting the sync on the back of the monitor and see if I can dial that in. It doesn't look like, well, the RAM and ROM tests are okay, that's good. RAM test, ROM test. I guess this is the test switch. Yeah. That's not reset, that's test. We have missing sounds, and we have control issues. Now, I don't know if it's my harness. I'll have to... It won't move left or right, but start and coin works, fire works, and up and down works. But left and right does not work, and we're missing sounds. So let me go ahead and restart this thing. Yeah. Graphics are good. Everything looks good there. Video's good. But we've definitely got sound issues. And it seemed to have infinite lives. I'm going to coin it up. Okay, credit 1. This is 1 credit. That's good. And we'll start. Okay, and fireworks. Here's down, up, right. I believe left works because I can move left. See that? I don't know if you saw that or not. Next time I die, check this out. It'll move up really slightly. You see that? That's as far left as I can go. So I think left works. Right does not work. It just, you cannot move right. Here's left. Watch me. Alright. So yeah, we're missing some sounds. We have no fire sound. We have no background kind of noise. We have no explosion sound like that. And I'm not counting down any planes, which is weird. I don't get that. Is that a dip switch setting? I better look at the dip switches. Let me do that and I'll be back. I want to get that settled really quick. Why is this thing not counting down? It's not counting down lives. Okay, apparently that was a dip switch setting. I just took all of the dip switches and moved them up this way. And now it takes me a lot of coins to get a credit now. No credit. No credit. Now I have a credit. And now if I start... Yeah, now see, I start with 2 guys in reserve, and when I die, watch my lives start to count down, see? Yeah, so that was a dip switch setting. Infinite lives, just strange. Yeah. So we're just I'm gonna play the game and I want to identify what sounds I'm missing and then go over the schematic and see. Hopefully they're named, the sounds. But we've got a lot of op amps, I think, on here. And that kind of warbling, that's got to be these 4066s. So I would say that those are probably good. We've got amps. We got a lot of amps on here. And caps. We should probably recap this. At least these bigger caps like this. Oh hell, I might as well recap the whole thing. So we need to do some maintenance on this board right here. And I want to kind of try to document, try to look at what sounds are missing. I'm going to play this. I'll probably play it in MAME and make comparisons and find out what am I missing. I also used my Deoxit here, which you can find down in the link below. If this stuff is the best for cleaning and working your pots. I use this D100 Deoxit. The little can with the little spray nozzle thing. This stuff is the bomb for cleaning these pots. Give it a little and then just work it. So yeah, you can find that amongst other things down below in the description down below. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to just mess around playing. And you know what I need to do is I want to look at the schematic for the right movement and see if it's just in my harness. I don't think it's my harness. I think we have a bad input on here. So let's do that. First thing, let's get all the controls working, and then we'll work on sound. Okay, yeah, apparently it was my harness. It's working. If I do... Oh boy, can I do this? It's this one right here, and then try to move it right. See that? Yeah. Now it works. Oh, how I love discrete analog circuitry for sound sections. I have a 123 jumped over U22, which is this guy. And this is supposed to be ship explosion, maybe? Anyway, I've got it jumped over, and it's kind of nice because it just loops the sound. And I'm following this, and I went and I replaced, there's 10 LM324s on here, and I went ahead and socketed and replaced them all because they are just problematic. Okay, so anyway, I've got this guy jumped, and it's just looping the sound. It's just how the jumped chip over it is interacting with it. It's making it loop. And I follow this, and it comes up to this guy, which is one of these MB4391s. I don't even know what those are. But anyway, this circuitry, I follow this back, and I see noise 1 and noise 2. Noise 1 and noise 2, if that doesn't work, you're going to have real issues with all of the sounds, because these go over to the other sheet in the schematic and create a ton of the sounds. See, here's noise coming in here. And there's a few more places, at least. Here's another one right here, noise. Anyway, that noise generator is this guy right here, this 5837 chip. I don't know if that's an attenuator or what that is. It might be one of those attenuator chips. Anyway, it's right here. And since I've got this loop, and I can take a new 5837 and jump over that, and you can tell there's the sound. There's the noise. That guy's no good. The sound generator, noise generator. So I'm going to go ahead, socket, and replace that guy, and we'll see what happens. Okay. So after I went ahead and I replaced that part, remember that the noise generation. Did some research and set the dip switches how they're supposed to be. Because believe it or not, you can actually turn the sound off through the dip switches. And I've decided not to cap this thing because capping to just recap, I don't see any leaking caps or anything like that. So I'm not really into capping just to cap. If that's just I don't know, I'm just not into that. These caps look fine. So, yeah. I did replace these problematic, whatchamacallits, the LM324s. I went through and I replaced all of those and socketed them that'll make future work easier on this thing. But, so yeah. So I'll go ahead and set up the tripod and play some Zaxxon. Okay. And here we go. missing a sound, I think. Yeah, it's supposed to have a sound right now, I think. Okay, I think the flight noise is missing. And let's turn the light on. Could have done this without the camera, but whatever. Yeah, it sounds like the flight sound is missing. So, and you know what that might be? Some of these are off-branded. Bottom of the barrel, because this is all that I had. And some of these are counterfeit. I know it. So I might have to order 324s. I know I do have to order 324s. But I could swap some around and see if some of the sounds come back, some of the sounds disappear, just kind of mess around like that. So I think I'll do that. Okay, I think these 4 signals right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think those are, it says player ship, and there's 4 bits. And I think that is the, all right, I believe that is the sound for the player ship, the flight, the ship's thrust, maybe. And I had seen this, but I just thought this was a hack. I think this might just be damage. That's pins 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. So they're not going anywhere. Now I don't know what all of this stuff is. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm just going to reconnect these traces and see what happens. Now these traces were purposefully cut, because you can see there's pin 1 right there. So it's almost as if this was done on purpose. It was done on purpose. I don't understand why, though. I'm going to connect all of those traces and see what happens. Okay, I got it back together again. I've reconnected all 4 of those lines. And let's go ahead and clean it up and see if we get that sound. There it is. No, that ain't it. I'll be right back. Hey guys, yeah, back at the Zaxxon. I want to make a correction. I want to correct myself. I said something earlier about not recapping stuff for the sake of recapping. I'm going to eat my words on that one. I'm going to change course on that and say that with these 40-year-old boards, you should 100% recap all of this stuff. Even if the capacitors are good, and I went through and tested all of these, and they were all good. Some of them were a little bit, the ESR was a little high, but not bad. I mean, they were serviceable. But this big guy that was sitting over here, that thing leaked all over. I had to take the fine grit sandpaper and sand that down and then re-tin that area, because there was electrolytic leaked on there. Even though they might be good, they leak. That's the problem with electrolytic caps, is they leak. So I went through and I recapped this whole board. And it did quiet the noise down quite a bit, but I don't know what it is. I'm going to call this one good. I'm going to go ahead and put some standoffs in it. And I'm going to call this one done, because I just don't know enough about this board and this circuitry to know, is this missing something? Is it missing like an engine noise? I'm not 100% sure. These chips right here, like I look at the schematic, I don't even know what sound that would be, to be honest. And is it this stuff where they had removed the jumper, cut the traces? I don't know, because I actually removed where I replaced those traces that were factory cut. I removed my fixes because I think they're supposed to be cut. And I probed this 139 while this thing was running after I removed my jumpers, and it is still connected to this 139 right here. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I can't find anything logically wrong with this at all. Now these chips right here are unobtainable. These 4391, whatever they are, I don't even know what they are. Some kind of controllers. But we fixed the noise. Remember, it was missing the noise. All of the 555s are good, because all those sounds are good. I've recapped this whole thing. I replaced all of the LM324s. And yeah, we did some, we replaced a chip on this board to get that fixed. I went through all of the software. It was all good. Replaced every cap on here. Worked, deoxided this pot. And did I do anything else down on this board? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm going to put some standoffs on this. I don't like this being with a piece of foam in there. So I'm going to put some proper standoffs on it and come back and play a game. Yeah, and while I got this apart like this, these caps had already been replaced, so that's good. This RAM, when I got this board, this RAM was in backwards. I tested both of these RAMs. They're both good. Obviously, it works. Put window coverings on the EEPROMs. I checked all of the software. It was all good. So this one's all good to go. Replaced this part, remember. So, all right. Let me get some standoffs. I got some standoffs here. I'm going to put them on. 6 of them all the way around the board, and we'll be back. All right. Beautiful. Nice standoffs. 6 of them all the way around 5/8 inch standoffs. Got the board hooked back up, and we will turn it back on. And that's it. All right, go ahead and set this thing up on the tripod, and I'll be back. Okay, it's looking good. I really like this game. Yeah, let's clean it up and give it a play. This is where I think it's supposed to have some engine sound. I don't know though. Yeah, so something just itches at me and tells me that there's supposed to be like a engine thrust sound going in the background. Maybe not though. I really don't know. And I can't really figure anything out from the schematic. I don't see any logic problems with this, so I really don't know. I'm going to call this one done. I've done all that I can do on what I know to do with these analog circuits like this. But went through and replaced all of the caps, which is good. And all of the LM324s. Yeah, and I verified that this chip was good because I swapped other chips in this one. So if there is an issue with something missing, it's not this 8255 chip or any of the logic. Everything's been tested and everything tests good. So yeah, I've done what I can. I'm going to remove these red things and put some proper window covers on here. So I'll do that, and that's going to do it for this one, guys. Zaxxon. Zaxxon, Zax off. All right, we'll see you all on the next Classic Arcade Repair. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel and the work that I do, either through Patreon or through the YouTube channel memberships. I do appreciate it. Appreciate every single one of you. So have a good one, and we'll see you all on the next.